What up, what up, what up, world? It's your boy Shelvin.
And your girl, Lady K.
All right.
That was my cue. I was looking for myself on that screen. I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see yourself on the screen? No, that's fine. Hey, man,
Okay.
we in here, and we ready to talk about it. I'm glad that y'all stay tuning in every week, man. It's going down every week here at the Chatterbox Podcast, man. We really love our audience, and we hope that y'all really love us. We know that some of y'all do because y'all tend to tune on here every week, and we so glad that y'all tend to tune on here every week, man. We always talking about something. I mean, I think the last couple of months we've dealt with a lot of relational situations. I think we in the last couple of months we talked about a lot of relationship circumstances, situations, and scenarios. And I think it's been really good, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Man. So, look, we're going to continue to push this relationship thing on. So what we were going to do was we were going to go back and run over the segments that we've ran already and, you know, kind of reiterate them. And so now what we intend to do is we're going to just finish out the year strong. We're just going to finish out the year strong, and then we'll start that in January. Okay. We'll start that in January. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, business ownership. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things that are not being talked about in the community because we need to talk about it. Yeah. There are so many people right now with LLCs in their head that just cannot get them out, cannot bring them to fruition, and it's not because they're not good business people. I mean, from where I'm coming from, it's a lot of good businessmen out there, and a lot of them actually, you know, sell stuff that's not considered. It's the black market. Let me just say that it's the black market stuff, you know. And they're great business people, but they don't have any way to bring it to fruition because it seems like everything is hard to get into when it comes to business. It's hard to get your LLC. It's hard to get your business started. It's hard to get business accounts. It's hard to get all this stuff. So we're gonna actually have people coming on with business intellect, and they're gonna have a great conversation for y'all to go start your business, go do what you got to do. We're gonna be talking about entrepreneurship and the ins and outs of that. You know, we're going to be talking about it starting in January. But this year, we're going to finish out strong. We want to continue to talk about relationships because it seems that we're helping a lot of people.
That's dope.
Yeah, I mean, I get, you know, compliments all the time about how, you know, they've never looked at it like that, or they didn't know that about certain relationships, and, you know, certain ways to actually build healthy relationships and all kind of things, you know, on that. So I'm just glad, you know, we're able to be an asset to the community because, like I say all the time, we want to be a positive platform for the community, a voice for the voiceless. Especially, we talked about molestation, we talked about manipulation, we talked about, I mean, we've just talked about so much stuff on here, man, and it's just been great. I just want to ask a question real quick. I just want to ask a question. Please put your answers in the comment. I want to know, that's right, Miss Ross, you do have an LLC, and she is a businesswoman. She will be on here able to talk to y'all. Y'all can ask her questions. Y'all can ask me questions. I do have an LLC as well, and we will be happy to, you know, oblige you and try to get you to where you're going, get you to where God's taking you, try to take those cuffs off of you, because you can actually do an LLC yourself. Just to let you know, you don't have to go through anybody to do an LLC. It's just a simple process. I can walk you through it, and we can get your LLC started real quick. It'll be a simple process. You'll be amazed on how simple it is to actually start an LLC. But, so, what we want to do today is we want to talk about something that's really not talked about as much as I think it should be.
Yeah.
I think it should be talked about. I think it's a topic that should be talked about. It's interesting to me because, honestly, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't really think about this, you know. But I want to ask the question before we get into the topic. I just want to ask the question. And the question is, y'all help me out on here. Don't all come thrashing at me or nothing bashing my head in. I just want to ask the question. We're not going to have a segment off this question. I just want to ask the question, and y'all just drop it in the comments and let me know what y'all think about it. Should an untraditional woman desire a traditional man? Is it right for an untraditional woman to want a traditional man?
Well, I guess it depends. What's traditional?
Biblical.
You mean you should? I don't know what that means.
He's a protect. A traditional man. All of Miss Rise, Miss Pat, I know y'all know what a traditional man is. But for those of y'all who don't know what a traditional man is, it's a man who provides. He takes care of all the bills. He makes sure the lawn is mowed. He takes care of everything outside the home. And you know, he's just a traditional man. You know, he just traditional. That's it. You know, you expect him to provide. You expect him to protect. You expect him to open the door. You expect him. Should an untraditional woman have the right or be able to warrant the relationship with a traditional man?
Yeah.
I
feel like that's a standard, right? So, and I feel like standards are established differently depending on the person. But if you want... If that's what we're talking about, because I thought we were talking about something else. But if you want somebody that's going to show chivalry, if you want to be with somebody, if it's a man and you want for him to take care of the bills, that's okay or a standard for you to have. But you don't need to settle for somebody who's not. Like if that's your standard, that's what you should be seeking. I don't think that a lot of people seek what they want. I think that people go out for certain people, and if they, based off conversations or a couple of encounters, you think, okay, well, maybe this person may align with me. And then when they don't, you think you can change them or morph them into being whatever it is you want. And 9 times out of 10, that part don't work out.
Okay. I mean, I'm just asking a question because this is something that is coming up really, really strong. I don't know if that is, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's right for an untraditional woman to want a traditional man.
Why?
Well, so Calvin, I agree with the video. You got the video? Can you play the video real quick? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to chuck this on you. I didn't mean to chuck it on you like this. Look, I ain't coming at you. I ain't coming for you, cuz I'm just curious about what people think. Should this be allowed to happen? Play the video real quick, Calvin, and that way we can catch up with each other. We'll be on the same page.
Okay.
Men are supposed to be men, and they're supposed to treat their women. They have a part to play. It's in the Bible. Like, what's going on? Men want to be taken out and all this other stuff. Like, you a man. Like, be a man. Like
a man. Hold on. You want a man in the Bible, so that's a traditional man, correct?
Yeah.
But modern day women aren't traditional themselves. Why should he be traditional?
It's the generation now.
What's a traditional female?
It's the generation now.
Modern day women are not traditional. Are any of you guys virgins?
Exactly. Wait.
Hold on. No. Because if we're gonna put the standard on men that you want them to pay bills and be masculine and protect you, whatever, let's go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So none of you are virgins. Okay. How many of you are good cooks and have a recipe book or whatever it may be?
Recipe book?
See,
No,
I feel like it's different now.
Only the wife does.
Yeah, the wife does. So you cannot be non-traditional women and want the man to be traditional on his side and pay full price for a depreciating asset that isn't traditional on his end. Because whether women want to accept it or not, the reason why men were traditional and chivalrous was because women were virgins, they're polite, they're feminine, they're submissive, and when you got a wife, she was a wife, not a boss babe, not a boss, none of this stupidity that's going on.
Man.
So what y'all think, man? I mean,
I got so much to say.
oh man,
I got so much to say.
Oh
Okay.
man.
So let me help people, because that ain't what I was thinking when I was thinking about traditional.
My fault. I ain't mean to catch from the left.
But do
Put in
I
the comments
want
what you
somebody to open the door? Yeah. Do I mind you paying for things? No, I don't mind. If you ask me out on a date, I absolutely expect you to pay, because you're asking me. If I ask a woman out on a date, if I ask a man on a date, guess who get that bill? I do. So I don't understand what is a hoo-ha about that part. But I didn't know this was going to be the topic, but let's go with it. But yes, a certain level of respect, yes. I personally, in that case, let me change my answer. I'm not a traditional woman. I will not be at home having babies in bare feet in the kitchen. But do I expect a level of respect? Do I expect to be pursued? Yes. Do I think that you should pursue your partner equally? Yes, if they are my partner. If I decide that I want to take someone out, I'm paying for that. I'm not going to ask you to go Dutch.
Right.
I'm paying for that. I'm pursuing you. I found interest and I want to get to know you.
Right.
Now, if after that date we don't go any further than that, that's fine. If I decide I want to treat you, I don't think nothing's wrong with that. But for the people who are like, oh, I absolutely want to pay for anything, and I understand, but I feel that there are certain things that you need to be willing to balance out. Some things I think are compromisable, but there are a couple of things that I do not think are compromisable. For example, my sister, we were talking about this a few months ago, and my sister was like, if I get married, I don't mind paying 50-50. I'm not doing that.
Oh. Do y'all agree? I know y'all on here.
I'm not doing
Please do not think this is a judgmental room. This is a total open conversation. I just want to know what y'all think. What do y'all think? Let us know what you think. Please like, follow, and share. I want to see what everybody think about this.
And my reason behind that is that, like I told my sister, I know what I bring to the table. And if we're talking about somebody that cooks, okay, that's me. If we're talking about somebody who knows to clean, that's me. I don't want to be at home all day, but I also don't think that I should be paying for every damn thing either. I think that you should. I think you should. Like, before you have that question, if he's paying my mortgage, I don't mind catching the luxury bills.
Okay.
But I'm not paying that mortgage.
Oh, okay.
You are the man. Bottom line. That's just how and that can't be erased. I think that there are areas that you can compromise on, but there are certain that I'm not willing to compromise. I'm not speaking for everybody.
Okay.
I know everybody have their own.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, for me, no. If you catch this mortgage bill, then I catch these luxury bills. My money, I feel like a woman's money, if she's not paying for anything and she's working, if he's paying all the bills, I think your money should be savings and investments. Because if something happens to him and he cannot work, then you need to have a backup plan. And I feel like that's where you come in and work as a team.
Right.
That's just what I think.
I can dig it.
That's what I think. I
can dig it.
That her money is backup. Like, if she got a mad spending problem, then y'all got a problem. Y'all don't have a savings. Y'all don't have assets that you can liquidate if you need some. Now, that's a problem because that's basically a liability.
Right.
That's it. That she's just a liability. If you don't bring home the money, she can't eat. That ain't the kind of... Now, I'm going to just be honest with you. Most men who act in that capacity, I'm just going to be honest with you. Most men who act in that capacity, who does foot everything, who does do all of the things that a traditional man does, he really does want a traditional woman. And so I think that's where the controversy comes in at. I think that's where the disconnect is because most women these days, I'm going to just be honest, if tradition could change and we can call the women today the normal woman, then I think that'll be a difference in the tradition. Like a woman, I think what you were asking for was a gentleman. Yes.
Not a traditional man.
Yes.
Because
you're right.
A gentleman is different. A gentleman actually offers to do these things, right? He doesn't consider or doesn't desire a traditional woman. He's like, look, you know what? I'm a gentleman. I ain't tripping. I like you so much, and I'm going to go into this thing knowing what I'm going to do for you. And I like you so much. I'm going to pay the bills. I'm going to do this, because I'm just going to be the gentleman. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to expect you to be a traditional woman.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying?
So, like...
It's a little different.
Okay.
Because when we talk about traditional man, then we're actually putting it in that box. We're putting it in that category. And most traditional men, I'm just going to be honest with y'all, you ask any traditional man these days, they go say, look, I want my woman at home.
Yeah.
Period.
I'm not going to do that. And the thing about it is control.
Whoa. It's not even about control. It's just the expectations.
No. The reason that women that were traditional then are not traditional now, there were several domestic abuse or domestic violence situations that are unaccounted for that they did not report because they're a traditional woman.
Right.
You couldn't leave if it was domestic or just not a good situation to be in. You couldn't just leave. You ain't got no money.
Right.
You couldn't do certain things on your own because why? You don't got no money. You can't do X, Y, Z. Why? You don't got no money. So I feel like money allows a certain freedom. And I feel like traditional women back then they didn't want to be traditional women. They didn't have a choice but to be, because a woman could not work.
Right.
She could not work. You go home, you clean, you do this, you do that. You have sex when you want to. You clean up when you want to. Do not think.
So do you think that being a traditional woman was not a choice? It was a force?
I feel like it was a force brought on by society. It's just the way, okay, a woman should be this, a man should be that, and this is all I have.
But there are a lot of women that actually choose.
There were women.
More women.
And what happened to them?
They still out there. It's still
No. I'm
out
saying
there.
back then, traditionally, women that were like that, they were killed.
Oh, Lord
They
have
were
mercy.
beaten. No, let's talk about it.
Oh, that is not. Oh, that's
No.
not. I mean,
I'm saying
some of them
the people who fought for women's rights, so they don't have to be in traditional positions.
Now, let me say this: there's a difference between a traditional woman and a weak woman.
True. But we're not talking about the weak woman. We're talking about the traditional woman.
It's not.
And a traditional woman back then don't want to be a traditional woman today.
I have a question.
They fought to be us.
Hey, Deesh.
So Kara, you don't believe in the traditional woman.
No.
But you believe in gender roles, right?
No.
You do.
No.
Because as a man, he pays the mortgage. That's a gender thing.
Yeah. Okay. So if a man,
And this not 201.
this?
It's women on here. Let me get on the chat
I'm a
after you answer this. Because I don't want you to feel double teamed on
no,
here.
I don't feel double teamed. All right. So
Hold your own, girl.
yes and no. So yes, gender roles, and no, because when you said gender roles, I thought about something totally different.
What
And
were you
that's
thinking about?
not that.
Oh.
Not that. So when in previous relationship, when I say we don't have a certain gender role, it just meant certain things that may seem to be a man's thing to do. It wasn't something that I wasn't willing to do.
Okay.
Like it wasn't something I was like, no, I would never. But specifically, as far as that mortgage bill, then yes.
Let me just clear that part up.
Yes. Because it wasn't everything, it was just certain things. So that's why I said yes and
He
no.
paying the mortgage, you taking out the trash, he providing, he's doing security, making you feel secure. That's a gender thing. So let's just
I'm
say
bisexual.
hypothetically,
Bro, did you hear her response?
That's why it's hard.
let's say that you are bisexual, and you like the same sex.
So
Then who pays the mortgage?
when in my
You date the same
marriage,
sex.
okay. I married a woman. I paid the bills because I made more. So I paid.
How's it different? if
so
you
it was
marry a
different.
man?
Well, in America, most men make more
You
than a
don't believe in
woman.
Tradition. You can't go for tradition.
Well, when I say tradition, I mean statistically, men still make more than women.
So if he makes less than you,
I feel like he
has
should
to
pay that
work.
bill. I feel like you should hustle and bustle and pay that bill.
Make your wife hustle and bustle and pay the bill.
She hustled and bustled. She had 2 jobs, but they still did not equate to the money I made.
I just don't
But
know.
a man in that situation, is still making him pay the mortgage.
He need to do something.
Then
Hustle
you
and
Yeah.
bustle.
in the role.
Okay, let me say it again.
Okay.
If
Work it out.
I want him to be able to provide that, yes. But again, if he lost his job or something like that,
It's different.
I would just pay that. I'm not gonna be like, you couldn't pay this, you're not a man. Like I would
Right.
not. I would never do anybody like that.
Right.
But coming into something, and that's the understanding that I will have. You're paying this. I'm doing this.
Right.
Now, if something happened, he broke his leg or he disabled, he cannot work. Then I got this, and I'm not gonna be like, well, you're less of a man.
Dang.
Oh, you're still my man.
So you don't have a double standard.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. At least she's honest.
Yes, because you see,
Do y'all have a double
you see
standard?
when I
Y'all
said
see what we
that
talking
when I
about
was in a
over here.
relationship-
Just don't
when
just
I was
hold on.
Married, that is a double standard. When I was married,
You was
I
Was with
I
him.
covered that.
Right.
Like I did that.
so
When-
was you the dominant figure in the marriage?
I would say yes and no. To people thought that she was more like to other people,
But to you? So I'm asking you. I'm not asking other people.
no, to other people them. But to me, yeah, I felt like I
What's the dominant?
was more dominant with certain things.
Okay.
So, as a what was I saying? You know, made me mess up what I was getting ready to say.
Double standard.
Okay, so yes and no, because when I was with a woman, I just covered that. I already knew she has 2 jobs. She's doing this. I understood everything. Okay, automatically. Now she automatically was like, I want to pay half, and I was like, no, don't make sense for you to pay half. You don't have what I make. I will pay this, and you can take care of this. Fine. When I was in a relationship with the man, when I first met him, he was not working.
Okay.
First met him, he was not working. It was some other stuff that happened before, but he was not working. When he started working, I wasn't paying for certain things. I wasn't paying for nothing. When something happened, he lost his job, I paid the stuff that he was paying. So I just feel like coming into it, the intention, I want you to take care of this. I don't mind being the backup plan. I don't want to be your first plan. So I think that is a double standard.
Yeah,
I could dig that.
I have a follow-up question. So, since you have been on both sides, in your mind, what switches from
This is
I got
interesting.
this to no, you got this?
When, because that did come for her eventually.
Wow.
When I started noticing that you were just lacking with certain things just because you knew I was going to cover it, well, it's time for me to fall back.
Oh, okay.
It's time for me to fall back. And that's what happened. I was just expected to.
Right.
But
Well, you know
when I
what
say
you're
basic
saying,
things
what
like your wife should,
someone that takes
if you paying the main bills and your wife, so she got the grocery bills, she got your cable bills, she got your whatever bills. But
So-
if I come home, which this happened, if I come home, I turn on my lights off.
That means
That's
she
a
ain't
problem
taking care
to
of
me
business.
because I'm taking care of everything else. You should have money for that. If I come home and there's no food in the refrigerator, why? Why?
Right.
I'm taking care of all that. So eventually I had to be like, okay, no, you need to, I had to establish that. But it wasn't like that in the beginning. It just, when I saw they was being abused, then I was like, okay, kind of have to back up a little bit.
And I feel like that's how a lot of men are today when it comes to women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I take care of the mortgage. We came in here, that's the agreement. I take care of the mortgage. Why aren't you able to take care of the rest of the stuff? And
Yeah.
I mean, that could become a situation as well.
Yeah.
But it is a double standard. I'm curious about that. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but that double standard is kind of interesting. I wonder why it's like that.
I feel that the double standard is because of how we were raised. When I was growing up, and my mama and my daddy taught me how to cook, because both of them can cook.
Right.
Anytime I was in the kitchen learning how to cook, okay, Kyra, I was a tomboy. So let me paint this picture. I'm a tomboy. I wear jeans all the time, shorts, and I'm forced to wear dresses.
Right.
I fight boys outside. I fall, green grass stains rolling down the hills. That's me. When I was learning how to cook, which is around 8 years old, the main thing that was beaten to my brain when my grandmother was helping me, when my dad was showing me, when my mom was showing me, you have to be able to do this for when you get a man. When I was folding laundry with my mama, you have to be able to do this for when you get a man. When my mama put me in a dress, you have to do this for when you get a man. Everything was, you have to do this when you get a man.
So that's what that.
I feel, and my brother, when my dad, same thing for my brother, when my brother would do things, he'd be like, you the man, you got to take trash out. It's your parents and your belief system and your whatever that puts
Your
that on
culture.
you. And then when your culture, and then when you start growing up, you get to compromise or pick if you want to keep,
Doing that.
yeah,
Or
and
maybe
if you've always seen your dad consistently take care of the family, and that's just all that you saw,
Right.
automatically you think, well, you're supposed to do that.
Right.
If you never paid attention to your mother's role, then you automatically you be like, you do that. Just same thing as I have some friends that are like, had some friends that were just like, well, all men are this, all men are that, and they just this and that. But if you go to their mom, there's a reason why she has that opinion, because their mama picks certain men.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So there is a breakdown when it comes to when you
What you're
say,
exposed to.
yeah, where you come to the table. I think that equally y'all can come in here and say, XYZ, I want XYZ, I want this YZ, and then figure out where you guys pick up and where you guys have a compromise.
Let me say this though. So let me read the comments in the comment box. So William Lash says, totally agree. It's just a level of maturity in dating and a level of growth. But I'm putting myself in a status where I got all the bills I need. She can help a little, he basically saying he carrying the whole load. She can help if she want to. And that's cool. That's a real live gentleman.
agree.
But do you expect her to be a traditional woman with all of that?
Okay.
I'm just shooting that question at you, Mr.
Yeah.
William Ladd. That's That's my boy. I'm just shooting that question. Do you expect her to be a traditional woman? What do you expect from her in that relationship? So Dunshell Black says, a man is to protect and provide. I'm his helpmate. I got us in the event of a mishap or hardship. Women back then were not afforded the opportunities as we are today. Totally understand that too. But at the same time, we're trying to get to the understanding of should a or can a non-traditional woman want or desire or expect a traditional man? That's the question. Can you answer that for me? Please let me know. She said those are conversations that should happen before marriage so that each person is accountable for their actions, responsibility.
Yes.
Yes, that is definitely right. Deisha says culture.
And it is. I definitely agree with Deisha. And I also want to say this to men and women. Not at one point did I say your boyfriend should be paying your rent or your whatever. Oh, that's not what I'm saying to you.
Husband.
No. When a boyfriend or a girlfriend is doing something for you, that is a good deed.
Right.
Okay, it's not an obligation. That's a good deed. Oh, you need help with this? I don't mind. I have a choice.
Right.
I don't mind helping you. Great. That's not something that you're obligated to do. When you marry, you guys are obligated to each other.
Right. So it's different.
That's a totally different lane. If your boyfriend decides to pay your rent because you're in a hard time, fine.
So
but
the expectations on the marriage.
Obligation to do that. Yes, that is there are certain things that go with marriage and certain things with girlfriend, boyfriend.
So when you get married, is it expected for those traditional standards to come into play? Is that expected?
Well, what standards? Are we talking about financial standards?
Tradition. Like, he's supposed to do this, you're supposed to do this.
Well, I like cooking, and I'm anal with cleaning. That's just going to happen because that's me.
Right.
I am anal.
Okay, you got a little
with that.
You got a little
so
OCD.
I like everything to be clean.
A little OCD. She crazy.
So it's just a certain way. Unless I'm like, on the down end of myself, then I'll just be like, I'm not touching nothing. But naturally, I like to cook. I cook all the time.
Like for it to smell
good. I just like
good.
to do it. Yeah, and then when I'm done, put it up. Great. Did y'all like the food? I'll do that. If you come to my house, I'm going to serve the entire time because I like to, but I don't think that's something you got to do.
Right. So Fatima says, I'm most definitely not a traditional woman. I don't mind helping where help is needed. So what do you expect for your man to be in that situation? I just want to ask that question. William Lass says, I expect a homemaker when that time comes. I can cook, clean, and make a home myself, but being a homemaker means peacemaker. Coach all around backbone. That's
okay.
That's.
And I agree. But I kind of have
you gotta say.
So, from the video, the woman was speaking on behalf of men, saying that men want to be taken out. Men want to.
I don't think that's bad.
But I think men are seeking signs of the woman pursuing them.
Okay.
So maybe they may be looking. Just because a man does certain things to show they're interested doesn't mean that's how the woman has to do the
well, let me help
thing. Highlight
for men what women do.
Oh, okay.
Because if men would, and can I say this first before I start?
Mm-hmm.
If your idea is to date and seeking a relationship, stop expecting to get sex at the end. Stop putting that pressure there. That means stop having those conversations beforehand.
Right.
Stop hinting at it during the freaking date. Like, stop doing silly stuff like that. If you are seeking a relationship, if you're just looking for a time, be upfront about that. But if you're seeking a relationship, don't start hiding booby traps. You don't have to do that. If someone's going to fail or not meet your standard, they're going to do that at a normal capacity.
But wouldn't it be weird to be with a man who doesn't say anything about the way you look? Like, you got to expect him to at least hint at you're beautiful.
No. I'm not saying
aren't sexual.
Yeah, all compliments aren't sexual. I'll get to those in just a moment. But let me.
But they're sourced off of you. They're sourced off of what I would do to you.
They're sourced off of how I perceive you.
No, they're sourced off of what I would do to you.
Let me answer your other question.
Man, quit playing with me. I am not that. Say, bro, I'm so far past that part.
I'm not asking.
You're not gonna have no conversation like that with a woman that you wouldn't have sex with.
Wait, no.
Quit playing with me.
I'm having sex with you.
No, this is not the intention. This is not the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
But you're not finna, bruh, you're not finna get in that kind of conversation or situation with a woman that you haven't first looked at and said, you know what? Yeah, I would.
Okay.
So your
Wait a minute,
compliments is gonna be sourced off of what you would.
Let me ask a
Just
question.
be real,
So if
man.
a man wants to be pursued, right? So,
A man
that wants to
pursued.
know that he's being pursued. He
Okay.
wants signs. He wants to know it's equal, basically.
Right.
Are you just having dinner because you hungry, or you just want to have a good time so you can brag about, or so I can be in that text message and be like, oh girl, he did all this for me, and I'm not interested. You want to make sure you're not that person. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, a way of doing this is that I plan dates. So if I'm seeking a man, if he took me on a date and I enjoyed that date, the next time in my mind, I'm already planning, oh, this should be done. So the next time I'll be like, hey, we should go here. And when he gets there, I'm the one footing that bill. That's one way. Your finances is one way. Or when you're doing small things like if he goes to lunch one day, you bringing him lunch or something. Or if he has an interest in something, picking that up. If he like cars, go getting model cars and being like, this is something he said he was his favorite thing. You didn't buy him the car, but you bought him a model car. Just things to say that you're listening.
Right.
If he's somebody that's into sports and you hate them, go still take him to a game or go to a sports bars or watch a game with him. Get him to talk to you about why he likes this game, or just sit there.
And this is just showing him
Be
your
company
interest.
that you're interested in him. So it's not like, oh, because there are so many things a woman would do if she's not interested. And there's so many things that a woman would do if she is. And the key is consistency. If you hitting her up and she's hitting you up and then out of nowhere, flatline, nothing, she's not really interested. She's trying to figure out, am I interested? Am I not interested?
Or she in jail.
Oh, he's cool, but blah, blah, blah.
She might be
it
in
could be
jail.
so many factors, but
Or Tyrone came home.
consistency is everything.
You know how Snoop Dogg got out of jail on Baby Boy.
Asking you what you think about things. If a problem arises and she says, well, what you think about XYZ?
Right.
Her letting you into her mental
Right.
is her being interested in you.
But that could be her trying to see if you.
You gotta stop looking for a problem.
No, I'm not looking for a problem, but a lot of times women trying to see if you a problem solver. Because a woman don't really want to be without a dude that's not a
There
problem
are
solver.
some women who just want to date for financial basis only. And I feel like that's okay. But you should be honest about that. There are some men that will just.
Let me ask this question.
Before you
Let me
say
ask-
that, I've had men buy me pearls, buy me cars, and all they wanted was somebody to just stand there with them and go places with them and look good and have sex. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. They didn't want you for anything else. Just, this looks good. It makes me look good. And when you no longer make them look good, or if you just decline the whole thing goes away. There are people like that out there. I feel like when you are taking someone on a date, it is an interview process. And it's not an interview where you're doing so much wordplay. You need to pay attention to those other things. Pay attention to conversation. Pay attention to body motion, how she's saying things, how he's saying things. Pay attention. Listen to your discernment. Everybody got discernment. Use that. And it's not a horrible thing to ask questions. And if they say something that don't line up, you're like, but you just said, do that.
So those guys wanted you to kind of like.
That's good, don't you? I like that.
Yes.
But most men
But she did say they wanted to have sex, though.
tend to turn to the white woman for their trophy.
Ooh. Say,
Not
man,
when
we
she
got so
young.
far off. Bruh, matter of fact, the topic of the night is the grass greener on the other side? Man, I'm sorry. We got so far with that question. I knew I should have asked that question, but I did it anyway just to see where this was going to go. Don Shell say everybody has a different perspective on a traditional man. I don't have an expectation. I desire a man who is just that, a man. Okay, that all depends on your definition of a man too. Like, what is a woman's definition of a man? Because I don't know if it's the same as what a man's definition is.
It probably isn't, because it's a woman. So a man, to me, a man is a protector.
2021 man, 2021.
A man
Let's
is a
do 20.
protector.
Right.
I need to feel very secure. And I'm not talking about, oh, if somebody do something to me, here you come. That's not the only thing I'm talking about.
Right.
In order for a woman to trust you to protect her, she got to trust you with her, meaning that how you handle things when you're upset with her, when she's when she's the enemy at that time. Like, if a person is not going to protect you with how they speak to you, how they approach you with certain things, or around your feelings about certain things, they're not going to protect you physically. They're not. And I'm just going to say that off top from personal experience. They're not. A woman also wants somebody who is a hard worker. I like hard workers because I'm a hard worker, but I like hard workers. Right. Because to me, that is another sense of security. Right. I like men who are sensible. That means when I don't make any sense, and that happens, then you can help make it make sense. Yes. The problem solver. Because every way that I do things is not, women are more emotional than men.
Ma'am, so hold up, say that one more time for the listeners and readers. Well, not the readers, but the listeners say that one more time.
Women are more emotional than men. This is why women tend to be more emotionally intelligent than men. Yes.
Dang, you had to come with that little old side post, didn't you?
But when that man is emotional intelligence, that makes things better. Yes, because if I come to you and I come with you some BS between me and my friends, and you say something so simple. Because men say things that are so simple, and it's like, yeah, why did I think of that? You wanna know why? Because in the midst of that, I thought about 10 different scenarios, and ain't now one of them was going to really solve. It was going to bring about another problem. Right. It was basically going to bring the snake in to get the frogs out. Right. It was going to be that kind of thing. I have male friends. I have two that I really consider friends. Right. Two of them. And they are just that, problem solvers. And they are providers, and they are great men to their children. Right. They're some dope some dope people. They are really stand up people. And so you look for that. You want your friend. You want a man that's gonna be your friend. You want a man that you can talk to about things and trust. You want somebody that's gonna be able to provide and protect. You want somebody to be that cheerleader, and by cheerleader I just mean encouraging. You want that kind of person. You don't need a perfect man, but you want them to have certain qualities of both what society says is a man and what a gentleman is, and who you want. That's who really matters. Who you want to be as a man. Does he meet you at those places that you need? Do you meet him at those places that you need? Do you sync?
Is he your Bluetooth? Are
you yoked, or are you oil and water? That's different.
It's a lot of oil and water out there.
It is a lot
Vinegar
of oil
and oil and all kind of stuff out there.
Yeah, because it don't matter how much you mix oil and water, it's still the oil is going to break into particles. That's it.
Right,
and sit on top of water. So it matters.
let me get to the chat real quick, to the comments. So Fatima said, I feel that whatever I do, he can do as well, meaning cook, cleaning, etc. That's your definition of a man. Okay, so let me go on down a little bit. She said, I agree, consistency is key. D, she said she agreed, consistency is key. Fatima says, I don't mind taking out the trash, mowing the lawn, etc. Gender roles. If you have two hands, you have the ability to take care of the household. That's real talk. That's real talk. And so Dunshell comes back. She says her definition of a man is this: a man is God-fearing, humble, gentle, a protector, and a provider. He's sensible and sensitive. I can go on and on. Yes. I see. So these are all great qualities. So what kind of woman
do men want?
Yeah. This is. So I think men more so want a woman who can kind of gauge where he's at when he's there. Men don't really want a woman who, has to foot the bill. Now, that's something that may happen in the situation. And I'm not talking about all men. I'm talking about me specifically. And Calvin over there, too, I'm going to let him go next because, everybody's different with it, what they want, what they expect the definition of a woman is, right? So a woman also understands that everything I say to her is not, a derogatory term. Especially a good man. A good man most of the time speaks he's very critical. And so he speaks a lot of constructive criticism. But it can be perceived wrong because most of the time women are operating out of emotion. Men operate out of intellect. So we're not thinking about how you're going to feel some of the time, which is very, very wrong. But as I grew, I learned how to present that. I learned how to approach that situation. And so it's very, very hard sometimes for a man to kind of find that in a woman because a lot of women are actually still immature in their 30s and 40s. Like Kay Michelle, you can't raise a man. You can't raise a woman either.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So a lot of women are, you know, their whole perspective of what they want in a man is really very immature. You know, they want a man who can shine. They want a man who a beast in the streets, a freak in the shit. You know, that stuff is kind of immature. And it's a lot of women
embarrassing us women like that.
This is my perspective, man. You better quit playing. I know.
Heard that.
Yeah, but you know, as a man,
I have heard it, but
from a man perspective, I see it more than what a woman sees. Because women only show you what they show you, but women show a whole different side when it comes to men, right? So we see a different character than what they tell their friends. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. You know, we the same way with men. You know, but as a man, for a woman to be argumentative is a dead turnoff. You know what I'm saying?
Define argumentative.
What you call it, Calvin?
Can't be wrong.
Okay.
And not even that you just can't be wrong, but even when you wrong, you have to be right.
Gotta have the last word.
That's just argumentative. And I think women are the same way when it comes to men.
The reason I ask when you say I gotta somebody ask you lives.
Is it mine too? You looking at mine? Okay. Don't look at mine and then look at yours.
You made me look.
Oh Lord. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was just riding it out.
Yeah, we ain't got but
They so dry. I'm just like
I got a little water. I'm finna
the reason I asked what do you perceive as an argumentative woman, because when I've been told I was being argumentative, it was just because I did not agree. I'm not one of those people. I don't like the back and forth. I'm going to say how I feel. This is how I feel. It's not going to change no matter what you explain to me.
Right.
I'm open to understanding, but it does not mean I agree.
Right.
So in my history of that, you're being argumentative. Now, I have also been that person in my early 20s, in my first relationship. I was that person that was like, no, this right here, I'll be so hell-bent on what you did to offend me that I don't hear nothing that you say.
Right.
And I was going to get my point across.
Right.
I got to follow you around.
Oh my God.
I was that person.
That's
when I was
argumentative.
And
that's almost volatile.
I recently met, I recently spoke to my first ex, and I said, I used to feel so embarrassed that you're about 6'4", and I'm 5'5", and I'd be like,
oh my God.
it's like, you're not even listening to me. And follow you around. I told him, I said, I used to feel so embarrassed. And when I think about it, I feel so embarrassed about that.
Right.
And he would be like, but I needed that because you were the only person that would tell me that was something different.
Right.
But they're looking at it now. I still wouldn't do things how I did it then.
Right.
But there should be a balance. Like, it's okay to have an opinion and not sway, but be open.
Right.
And it's okay to be offended. If you're offended and say, I'm offended, but don't close your ears.
Right.
Because that's when the argument happens. I'm not listening. You're not listening. And now all that matters to you is, I'm going to get my point across. And now you got somebody stubborn that's like, oh, I'm going to get my point across. And so y'all.
Sure. Hey, whatever. You know, and we very, very, let me say, competitive and in a way grudgeful when it comes to that kind of stuff. But one thing a man does appreciate in a woman is when a woman sees tension, when she sees stress, and instead of creating more, she massages his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? She massages, just talk to him, or probably, you know, just do something to kind of ease the pain. That's what a woman, you know. Now a girl, she gonna be selfish,
Poke
you know,
it or poke at you about it.
And she'll be selfish. That's selfish.
Yeah.
You know, she'll say something like, "Well, why are you so stressed out? We ain't talked all day." Well, maybe I'm stressed out.
I think that's another thing. When a lot of relationships start these days, y'all have this thing that y'all do that scares me. And when I say y'all, I mean people.
Oh, people.
In general, yes.
Okay.
That y'all do. And it's me and you against the world, and it's just us. And it's not. Okay? We live in a whole big world. And it's not just us. That means I do have a life, you have a life, you do have, you know, external things affecting you like they impact me. And I should consider that. I should not be trying to monopolize all of your time. You should not be trying to monopolize all my time. You got your time. You got your time. We got us time.
Right.
And we got to get out my face.
Wow.
It is time. Sometimes you do need to get out of each other's face and just be like, let me
Can we
miss you
just
for
get
a
a little
moment.
space? Not get out my face.
No, well, get out my face. That's
Let me
that's
just
how
get
I
it.
get when I feel like you just like, I'm like, do you have friends? Like if we.
But Donchelle actually explained, she basically gave him a lot of the characteristics of a traditional man. He's God-fearing, humble,
Yes, space,
gentle,
space girl.
a protector, a provider. You know, he's sensible, insensitive. Not sure about that part. I don't know if that's part of the traditional man.
That's not traditional man. Traditional man was not sensitive. A traditional man worked. He provided the bread.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Hey, kick his feet off, set him up on the couch.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about all the other stuff. Just focusing on what those
That's
roles
it.
were. A woman, you basically raised the kid because he's been working on.
So y'all want the traditional man 2.0.
What they want is they want a gentleman. They want certain things that are traditional, and they want you to allow them to be themselves. Like a lot of men. Yes, you are correct. There are a lot of men, you can make your own money. I've been in this situation. You make your own money, make good money. These days, men are very competitive with you. They're very competitive.
Well, because truth be told, let me tell you why we are very competitive these days. I'm not, but I'm just tell you why black men in general are very, because black women are put in positions that black men just aren't. It's just
But that ain't my fault. Now, no, listen.
But
I'm not
just
saying don't
fact.
be insensitive to that. What I am saying is that if this is your partner, you don't compete with the person you're on the team with. You can
Right.
have healthy competition to motivate each other,
Right.
but not in a way that it makes them feel like they can't be around you with certain things or have certain conversations with you because automatically it's a competition.
So I think oftentimes men, I think insecurity has a lot to do with it, and they get told 99% of the time, "I don't need you. I don't need you. I want you, but I don't need you a part of my life." So they don't know how to interpret that as in still feeling secure in their relationship. If you don't need me, then why am I here?
Well, let me tell you what that means. Because I say that I don't need you. When I say need, a need is something that you cannot live. You literally cannot live without. That's a need. I don't need a male or a woman in my life. I don't need you here. You don't have to be here. I absolutely want you to be here.
Right.
I absolutely want to share in these things with you. To me, it's better to be wanted than needed. Because when my need is met, then you get to go.
I think the problem is most black men ain't never been needed. And it feels good.
Always treated like a commodity.
Definition, right.
Yeah,
Our
okay.
definition of needed is it's not what you think it is. Because needed is something that you can't live without. We know you can live without us. Everybody can live without everybody, but as a black man, we feel like if you need us, it's more of a you want us to the point where, you know, you'll do just about anything for us except for when it comes to compromising who you are as an individual.
Okay.
And so that's what we think need is, right? We put, and a lot of people would never say that. Let me just tell you that, because we will never say that. Black men have.
That's good that you've said it, because now you understand that there's a big difference.
Yeah,
There's
it
a big
is.
difference when a woman is saying, I don't need, and the reason that she's saying, I don't need, is because the stigma is, just like the stigma is on you as a man, oh, you need to pay all the bills, you need to protect, provide. The standard on a woman is that in America, is that you can't do anything by yourself. You need help. It's driven in your head when you're a kid. Oh no, just get that man to do it for you. Just get that man to get. That's driven in your head. So when you're able to do it on your own, that you are leveling on that insecurity. Like, no, I can stand on my own by myself.
Right.
So when a woman is like, well, I don't need you. No, she don't need you to be there. She wants you to be there, and that is the big difference. And that can often be looked at as, oh, you said you don't need me.
But then you go and you shut down on somebody that operates off intellect. So you shut down. You don't want to have a conversation with somebody who operates off of their mind. That's a bad way to, you know, show that
That is
you know,
that is
you
a
want
bad
a person.
combination. That's communication skills.
Because now I feel like you don't want me either, because you cut down, and I'm mentally stimulated. Like
Right.
I operate off emotions too, but I don't use them to drive me. I use my mind to drive me. And right now, I don't know what to think. And you're leaving me out of here with this. I don't need you.
And let me explain that blank space. That blank space is
A terror room. That is a torture room.
It is a torture room,
and that's
for
not
you.
fair.
But it's hold on,
Is it
wait
really
before
fair,
you
though?
finish. Before you guys, it definitely is. I'm not going to say it's fair to you, but
So it's not
there's
fair.
a reason for that space. That space that she's leaving there is her protection, because when a man thinks that you need him in his definition of need, there's so much room for you to be manipulated. And there's so much room for so many other things to happen, because the ideal is, well, you need me to be here.
Well, we talk
you
about
ain't
a
gonna
good
let me
man.
go.
We talk about a good man.
But because she's already dealt with, she didn't have. You don't get a good man your first go around.
You don't get a good man
Most of the time.
You don't
Most
get a
of the
good man a few
time.
times around.
You've met her after she's met so many of those other kind. So she's going to. Well, I don't. When she say I don't need, she knows how you're going to perceive it, and she knows what she means by it, and she leaves that space there because I don't want to fill in that blank, because if you understood what I meant by need, you would use that to manipulate me. That's a level of protection for herself. It's not to mislead you. It's to, this is my frame, this is my guard.
So we've been miscommunicating this. We've been
Yes, it's a bunch
misunderstanding
of
this for a
miscommunications.
long time.
I got questions.
What you got?
So that space that you're creating.
Let's talk about the space.
Protection. At what phase of the relationship is this? Is this the beginning, or is this? The
I
middle?
feel-
Are we in a relationship?
No,
Are
this
we
is
married?
definitely that.
You are
high
definitely,
emotion.
at this point, you are
Shutting
definitely,
down while we are married.
well, some things can't break down until you guys actually have a conversation about it. That means that she has to feel safe and you got to feel safe. And since we can't put a time on when both of y'all going to feel safe, or when one of y'all get fed up, to define what that means, that's what you're going to do. What I noticed about myself, I noticed what things I've done to be like, okay, you that didn't go. But I am one of them people that if I feel like you didn't get it, I'm coming back. Okay, this is what I mean. This is what you mean. Everybody's not like that.
Right.
Most people leave you in that space. I've left people in that space.
Lord have mercy.
And that's why I'm able to speak
What is
from
that
it.
space
It's like, I
called?
left you there. It's called limbo, and stay there.
Oh my God. Leave a brother in limbo. He just have to try to catch his balance.
Listen, and then when you get to a point where you're just like, okay, this is what this means. You really have to measure, is this person really a good person? And that means that you have to, the only way you can figure that out is putting your guard down. So again, that's something that she has to trust you with. Is it safe for me? She's going to have to gamble that. That is a gamble. When you put your guard down and whatever it is, that is a gamble. When you guys decide to take that gamble and let somebody in just a little bit more,
Right.
you start discovering things about them that they wouldn't have explained to anybody else. As a matter of fact, sometimes the more you get to know your partner, you can explain to them why they have a certain behavior because you recognize it. And then they'll be like, you know what, that's right. If they don't have too much pride.
But let me say this. You're dealing with a man, not just any man, a black man, who has been left in limbo for over 400 years.
But you can't use that.
No, but this is the truth. We've
Well,
been
I'm not-
left in limbo for over 400 years. And for somebody to come in and you say you got all these feelings for me, you say you love me, you say all this stuff, you're going to leave me in limbo too.
You
That's
can't
a
be sitting there
dangerous
talking
place.
about, you can't be let me out. Because
No, we have learned that if you're going to shut down, then I'm going to cut certain emotions off.
exactly, but the woman does the exact same thing.
It's not a good place.
Exactly.
It's not a
That's
good
why
place.
communication is important, but not just communicating, being able to level out those things. And if you guys can't do that in a healthy manner, there are places like counseling, like therapy,
Most needed.
that you
Most
guys
needed.
can you can pan that out with. Most people can tell you what their problems are. These are my problems. These are my problems. But most people can't come up with their own solution, and that's because they're still in their problem. So you need an unbiased outsource counselor, therapist.
Don't
that's
go
like,
to your
hey,
mama and your grandmama.
Hey, that'll be like,
Tell my
hey,
mama you need to talk to her.
you do this. Hey, you do this. A better way for you guys to communicate is this. And when you guys actively do that together, like consistently, that is an improvement.
And what if a dude was to take you to his mama and say, look, you need to talk to my mama?
I'm not talking to your mama. And here's why. I've talked to mamas. I've talked to mamas, and I've talked to mamas that have relationships with their sons, and
oh my God!
And
say, well, y'all do that. Well,
there's
y'all
a medical term for that, but there are some
mama's boy.
No, even if it's not a mama's boy, though, mamas will always be biased.
There's actually
every time.
Yes, and there's a medical, and if mama don't like you, mama just don't like
Oh
you.
yeah. Now there's some mamas out there that are just straight across
I had
the board.
a mama that did not like me because that was her only son.
Right.
And she said to me, "You are taking my son from me," and that's why she didn't like me. She said to me,
"Say,
what can I say?"
Dunshire said something that was very powerful on her. She said, "Being too." Yeah, he does.
If the
He
mama
does.
said that, then he would have to step up and speak for you.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
right. But Dunshire said being too guarded can cause you to miss out on the man or woman that's truly for you.
And she's absolutely right.
She said, and Cindy says, I can admit I'm very guarded.
And it takes time to, you got to be patient.
Yeah, but
with
how
yourself.
much time?
Time.
Shoot, time. You look up 10 years, be done went by. You hollering time.
Well, the reason I say time, and the reason why there's not a number is because everybody processes something differently, and everybody approaches things at different times.
Yeah, but it's
like in this day and age, I've approached so many lines that my mama didn't approach, my dad didn't approach,
right?
And it's because they weren't open to approaching those things, and some of those things they were open to approach after talking to their kids. That's a long time. There are some times things don't happen in time for us.
So those are generational.
But if you want to have certain conversations, you basically just have to open it up. Open it.
Right.
And if that person is not ready to open it, you have to accept that. And then you have to make a decision.
Right.
Can I continue? That's your job. Can I continue here?
Right.
That is your job, because you cannot expect her to heal as you do,
right,
as quickly as you do, or to understand or process things as quickly as you did with certain things.
So what you just explained to me is something that women have been doing for traditions.
Yes.
This is a traditional woman.
Yeah.
And you're not a traditional woman.
No.
But you have some traditional characteristics.
Definitely.
So you're like the traditional woman 2.0. So we've all advanced. I'm just reading into it. So that is very interesting, because we have come to a place where we're all at different stages. You just talked about breaking generational curses, and I think that this generation is the best generational curse breaking generation that I've ever seen. I'm not lying. We are breaking generational curses left and right, and it's because we're courageous enough to go against them and be for us.
Yeah,
we're courageous enough to do it.
A lot of us are going to counseling and therapy.
Mm-hmm. We're breaking those generational curses left and right.
A lot of us are doing that. A lot of us are having conversations that
we
wouldn't normally be able to have.
The space is getting smaller. We're closing that void of, look, we don't know what to do right now.
But you cannot,
because that's what the space is for.
Exactly. So right now, how I would see it is there's a whole lot of construction going on. So right now, everything looks like trash because we are tearing up everything.
I see beauty.
We're tearing up everything.
I'm a construction worker.
Yes, you see
beauty.
But so what I'm just saying is like everything it's not built. It's just still, this goes somewhere in your head. This is going to be this. This is going to be that. But there's so many things that have to be broken down first.
Right.
So right now, everything has been leveled.
Right.
People are leveling things. Okay, you know what? We've been doing this for this many years. This mess don't work. Scrap it.
Right.
We've been doing this. This don't work. Scrap it. Okay, this doesn't work. That's what we're doing.
Pull out the tantrums. No, I'm just playing. I don't even know where that came from.
Just if you pull out tantrums, just do it with somebody that you gonna be with for a very long time.
Bro, that's so funny to me. I just be joking about the tantric stuff. That blew my mind when I found out about it. Dunshire say, Cindy said it's only to protect her feelings. Yeah. It's by default. I get that, Cindy. But you gotta just go out on a limb with it sometimes.
And in a follow up to Cindy's comment, is why is everybody guilty until proven innocent?
Wow.
Why is not everybody innocent until proven guilty?
Wow.
I can definitely speak from that. All right.
In the justice part of our lives,
we gonna go a little bit over tonight. I'm telling y'all right now, we're gonna go a little bit over.
I would like to be the first person to say something to that.
I get what you're saying.
We want to have a fair trial based on our skin color, but we can't take that into a relationship because it's like, nah, I've been through this, and this. I've been hurt. I need to protect me.
You guilty.
Everybody's now guilty until you prove me otherwise.
So here's my take. As a person who has done that, as a person who has come into everything, and I'll be like, okay, no matter what this person did in the past, this is a clean slate between me and this person. I want to first say that people are creatures of habit. So regardless of who they're with, they're creatures of habit. If they have certain habits and they have not broke those habits will continue.
Right.
For me, when I would say I was definitely naive. Because I walked in every relationship that I walked into it with like a clean slate. Like, because in my mind, I've taken the time out to heal and I've done all this stuff. So in my mind, I expected you kind of to be on that level and me not to feel like you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this. So off top, I'll be like, I'm going to trust this person until they show me something that I can't. Right. Well, sometimes people spot that. I'm not going to say sometimes. 9 times out of 10, people spot that that's your character and they take advantage of that. That's most people. In my mind, I was always like, I'm not going to say that's most people because I don't want to assume that most people blah blah blah. Because that was all coming from me as a kid. When I was a child, I got in trouble all the time, and I mean every day. I was in trouble for something. And in my mind, how I put that out to this world is that everybody's always going to assume something bad of me, so I got to be this upstanding person, and I can't just be this person without allowing that other person to show me that they're this upstanding person. So I had this enormous amount of trust what I call trust. There's a difference between trust and being naive. But we're gonna say that I was calling this trust. And this person be like, well, I'm XYZ and I'm gonna do this YZ, and I'll be like, okay, I'm fine with that. And you give them this thing right here for trust, and then slowly start breaking your fingers off because there are certain things that are just like, no, that's not about being trustful. It's not trust. I was confusing. This is interesting. Confusing the two. I was being.
Let me say this.
I want to say what I want to say, but I want to say it without putting everything out there.
I get what you're saying. I got you. I'm telling you. Y'all finna love this. Bros, please don't say nothing. Don't call my phone this week. I'm just finna help this out real quick. So, basically what you're saying is... basically what you're saying to me is women operate totally, in those situations, they're operating out of emotion. And when men come in, they're operating out of intellect. So they notice that you're operating out of emotion. The problem with a lot of women is they don't operate out of intellect in the forefront. They operate purely out of emotion. If a man sees that you're going to question certain things, that man he gonna be very, very cautious about doing certain things. But if you're not questioning those certain things in the front, he gonna see that. He gonna test that. That's just a man. He's an intellectual. He's going to test that. But if you come, it's not being overly protective of you. It's not. We don't even look at it like that. We're just looking at it like, she pay attention to stuff. We ain't even looking at it like, she's trying to protect us. We ain't looking at that. We're looking at it as, it's certain stuff that she's not going to allow me to do. She's going to question it. And you have to do that with men. When men meet each other, we look at each other in each other's eyes. We be like, is it an intellectual in there, or is you just dumb? I can crank your back up. That's what men do. It's not that we're basing it off of emotion. And so women have to stop going into situations with emotion because you're going in blind with men.
Or stop turning them off.
Right.
Like, for example, when I first meet people, most people will tell you, Shara, you're all head and no emotion.
Wow.
That's until I feel like I can let go. Before, when I started feeling like I could let go of guard, I'll be like, just let them all down and just see what happens.
But
that's a gamble that I will not tell you to do.
We know when it's not intellectual, when it's protecting your emotion.
Yes, but I'm just saying that in the beginning of everything, I'm always head first.
Right.
It's when my emotions get involved that I'll be like, okay, maybe you're over.
And we know that.
You get what I'm saying?
Know that, yeah.
Exactly. So I had to, what a woman needs to do, or what a woman should do, what I would advise any woman should do, is to maintain that balance. Because before you were actually in that, emotionally involved, your mind was there. You were on key. and you allowed yourself to know certain things. But when you got emotionally involved, you allowed your emotions to trump what you saw.
Like women can't wait to operate out of emotion. Like, ooh, I can't wait till I can let this guard down and I can just.
Yeah, you want a safe place.
You want that safe place, but at the same time, your safe place should hide behind your intellect.
Okay.
It shouldn't hide behind your emotions.
As if you had a daughter,
I would teach her to be an intellectual.
I guess it's not a time period.
She wouldn't
but if
ever
you
let
could
her
give it a
guard
time
down,
period,
she wouldn't have a guard up. It would be intellect. She wouldn't need a guard if she used intellect. She would always question stuff. I'm telling you, my sister, Kima, that sucker there is a lawyer. And you know why she like that? Because she was raised around boys, and boys are intellectuals. That's why she can question her. Boy, she'll start off with questions, and she'll start on one side and guarantee she gonna get to the end of that story, and it's gonna be something that she was triangulating at the whole time. But she's such an intellectual that you wouldn't even know what she was going for, and before you know it, she done broke you down. She's very intellectual, but that's what you have to be. You have to be an intellectual with men.
Men do become very defensive. Before I used to like when.
Hold on, where you see that at?
The last comment, Cindy said it. Before, when it came to men, I used to. What was it? Before when. Yeah, so. I used to be okay with letting a man think, oh, I don't know, because I like things like element of surprise. Because I will show up.
Oh, my God.
I will show up.
Sniper.
And so, but I don't like when people get used to you being one way that you're completely not. Like, if he's not used to you asking questions, or just knowing, or showing that you know things. Like, you probably know. Like, I have a tendency, before him, the last one, people were like, well, you just too smart, and you always asking questions, you always this. And then this person was like, well, you never ask any questions, you never do this. And, you know, when people ask a lot of, and you don't ask questions, I'd be like, I don't ask things to agitate myself. Right. If I know it's something you're going to lie about, and I know it's something that I'm going to be really angry about, I'd be like, okay. Because in my mind, I think I already know that it's going to unfold. Like showing up to a gym. Like, I mean, hello. But I just feel like if you got to become a FBI agent, let that go.
It's not so much as an FBI agent.
No, I'm not talking about that. But if you got to be an FBI agent, if I'm talking to you and I say something like common sense, if you keep repeating certain people or certain things to me, and I ask you about that thing or that people, and you're like, oh no, blah blah blah. But if Shakara asks a question, Shakara knows the answer.
Right.
So if I ask certain, I don't like to ask questions that are going to aggravate me. I don't like that. So I feel like you have to establish a communication with somebody that is not trying to manipulate things for their turn. People telling themselves from the beginning is just that as a woman, and for those who don't agree, I'm sorry, but as a woman, it's not that you don't notice things at the beginning, but you do become, if you started to come up with any type of story up here in your head. So I always tell my sister, forget that story that you made up here.
Right.
If this person already seems idea and you start creating things, forget that. Because what happens is, if what you want overpowers what you're seeing, you're going to override everything that you see off top. You're going to start overriding and be like, okay, well, this thing, we can talk about that. Or whatever. And I'm just putting it like that because it's always small things, and you'll just keep dismissing. And then here comes that big thing. You just like, oh, I can't believe you. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's this.
It still was there.
Yeah, it was always there. You just ignored it when you first saw it.
Right.
And that was me.
You really didn't ignore it. You
you just completely was like,
chunked it to the side.
Yeah, I was like,
you know, and you seen every sign of it. But that's the thing. What I'm saying is, you have to be an intellectual with men,
Right.
and that's why we got to constantly close this space right here, because this space is just, you know, emotion over here, intellect over here. So we trying to figure out, okay, how can I come in? How can I relate to her emotion, and how can I relate to his intellect? We just got to do it at the beginning of it. So. Cindy says, but if you question those things, some men become defensive.
Very.
So it's 50-50. Most of
That's a
those
red
men who
flag, too.
become defensive, that is a red flag. Most of those men who get defensive, if they just can't answer the question and be like, no, it is what it is.
Or this one, this is my favorite. Why you got to know so much? Oh, hold on, Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo.
So Cindy said, what Miss Cleo say? You finna say something about Miss Cleo?
No,
oh,
that
that's
was like,
what they
it's
say.
just things that'll just be like, you know, but they'll try to make you feel like you don't know.
I had to laugh at Cindy because she say it'll irritate me if I don't ask off top. My mood will change, and I get that. But it's not what you're asking about. It's how you're asking to. You know, you can't let your emotions drive your question. You got to learn how to get to your question. I'm telling you, I'm trying to game y'all up. Listen, this is free game. You got to learn how to get to your question by going through different avenues. You can't just come out and blatantly say, well, you know, and all this, you know, y'all know how y'all get when y'all got a question that's burning up inside. Y'all want to get to that question. Don't just get to the question. How your day doing? How was your day? You know, get maneuver through.
Or just get them really drunk. Like,
no, that don't always work.
Get them
either.
drunk.
I'm a very, very smart drunk. You gonna get me drunk and we gonna be talking about astrology. I'm gonna throw your whole question. You ain't gonna even know what your question is by the time we finish talking. She'll say, I'm a Virgo and such an overthinker. So if I ask questions and it's hesitation or something, that causes doubt. Exactly. These are not things that we don't know.
Right.
These are things that we know cause a little bit.
So the key is being less emotional and a little more more intellectual.
So not all men. So I think in our generation, even with the social media realm of how we choose to communicate, not all people communicate effectively. So some people will hesitate. Some people will pause. Some people will stutter.
Think about it.
Will have a problem.
Come back.
Communicating whatever the question is, and now here we have a false red flag where you think they're trying to. I feel if you have to change your mindset of how you're going into the conversation. If I'm coming from a perspective of all men lie, all men cheat, he has a reason. Come on, you know, it's like when you ask somebody, and it's like you come back.
You got a preconceived notion right there.
Like
It's not right.
Right. Maybe I just don't know how to communicate. Maybe I'm struggling with how to effectively get you to understand me. And now here I am, a red flag, and now you got a reason that you feel like I'm lying, and now you lose an interest when I'm just struggling on how to talk to you effectively.
And I think the difference there is not exactly hesitation, but the buildup of frustration. Like if he gets frustrated behind the question, that's different. But if he hesitates a little bit, he probably a little slow.
I think it's
probably a little slow.
I think it just needs to
no, I'm just playing. But he probably needs time to think about it. Listen.
I think that for a lot of people, when someone says something, while you're saying it, it's being said. For me, by the time I get in my car, I get alone, then I'll start thinking about, okay, this was said, and automatically my mind will go, no. Look for these things.
Right.
Don't say nothing to this person.
and that's what you're supposed to do.
My brain automatically is like, do. And I figured out my answer. And then when I come to you and I say, hey, when you said XYD, is this what you meant? And I feel like that when I ask questions like that, it's intimidating because
ask those questions right there.
I feel like when people see that I'm calm, I feel like they think I'm gonna snap on them.
No.
That is what's gonna happen.
No, it's not. I promise you.
Somebody that's paranoid. They be like, "Why are you so calm?" And asking
Well,
me,
for
"Am I
one-
cheating on you?"
For one, you done disappeared and came back. That is a black law. And you done disappeared and came back. Ain't no telling what you got on you. Hold up. Now, yeah, you done changed the whole tone of the situation just by disappearing and coming back and asked me about a question that I already answered.
Did you say?
Yeah, nah. Oh no.
Because I had this dream.
Shoot. See, that's the bad thing. But try to ask those questions right there, man. Men are very, very
So
intellectual.
ask in the moment. Don't let it cook where you get too mad.
Right. And you
Say something right. Or say this while I'm taking notes.
and women know this. They just be trying to save that heartache.
Yes.
Don't
That's
save
exactly
the
it. That's
heartache.
whole
Just
song.
go through it.
That is true. That
don't
is the
save
whole
the
song
heartache.
because a lot of just speaking for myself and a lot of people is that is the song. You feel like you're not completely ready for whatever that truth is.
Right.
Because you really know what that truth is, but you're not ready for
Trying to save
it
the
to be
heartache.
solidified
Right.
and you hear it.
I hate to say it like that, but that's just what it is.
That
So,
is, you're saving face.
I just gave y'all
You're
free
exactly
game. Free game from your boy, man. I ain't
You're
want to
exactly
get
right.
look at Calvin. Look at Calvin looking at me like I can't believe
You're
this boy
right.
just gave him that. Man, I had to give it to him, bro. I'm so tired of this space right here, bro. I done been in this space. I done been in this space before. And I'm telling you, I got so frustrated in this space. You call me back. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. Nah, what? You left me in the space. Shoot, I thought we were better than that. Don't leave me in the space. But look, we gotta get out of here. This was so. This segment of today was actually, should a untraditional woman expect a traditional man? That was this topic. Next week we're gonna talk about, is the grass greener on the other side? We're gonna be talking about all sides, so y'all get ready for it. We're gonna be talking about every angle of it. It's going down next week just like it went down today. That question flew off. Look at this. I was. Oh yes.
Oh, and also
YouTube. We going. Oh, go ahead.
We're going live
Take it.
on YouTube starting next week.
The Chatterbox.
It'll be the same, the Chatterbox. So meet us on YouTube.
Yeah, we taking the show to YouTube.
Only. Meet us on YouTube.
We gonna be live on YouTube. I mean, we may do some Facebook too, but we gonna be mostly live on YouTube. The Chatterbox, same stuff. We go actually put a link on the page so they can go to from the Facebook and just you gonna be able to do that.
Do what?
You got it.
What?
That's what I'm talking about. So
You said go live. No, you said share it.
just put a link on the Facebook page.
Yeah, you
so,
put it in your
on your Facebook page, and so y'all just be able to hit the link and y'all be able to tune into the YouTube on there like that. We want to take it to a bigger platform for next week. So any last remarks?
This was a great conversation.
It was. It can go.
It was
on.
a great conversation, and I definitely took note of those hints, tips. Because I don't have a big brother. I have a little brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm the middle kid, but I was always the big sister.
Right.
So that's good to hear that, to get that take. And I hope that as for the men that did tune in, that you kind of understand a woman's perspective on certain things now. Yeah, and that we just walk away for a better understanding. Because I'm going to be really honest, right now, it's like it's just a huge misunderstanding. Like,
Yeah.
we talking lady and y'all talking gentleman, and it's just like, what?
Yeah.
What does that mean? What are you saying?
You from Saturn? I'm from Mars.
Yeah. So
Venus or whatever.
I'm glad that we're having a conversation to kind of level the planes and give understanding of what's going on the other side of the fence, so that we can operate better together.
Speaking of the other side of the fence, we're going to be talking about is the grass greener on the other side. Let me tell y'all a little bit of what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about why does a black man feel like a white woman is a trophy woman? And why do black women feel like the white man is a trophy man? This is not even to sum up the whole of the conversation that we're going to have next week. So y'all get ready for this, because I'm really curious of why these things go on now. I'm not very enlightened on the conversation, but I will be enlightened after we finish talking. But listen, I just want to say that we're glad that y'all tuned in. Cindy, Dunshare, Deisha, y'all are becoming our favorite fans, best people on here. My sister Kima. I'm sorry I had to put you out there like that, but you are indeed an intellectual. I hate when you question me. She on here somewhere, but she ain't really saying nothing because she don't really like commenting, because she an intellectual, and she get to going, she go keep going. But listen, I I hope that something was said to help close the space a little bit. I did kind of play crazy, but I was very in tune with the conversation. We have to close that space because we just have to. We got to quit putting ourselves in these volatile situations out of just a miscommunication or a misinterpretation. We have to do better, and I can't wait till we get to a point where we can actually sit there, and majority of us is having intellectual conversations that are getting us closer together and not on Facebook throwing people shoes out windows and doing. I be seeing some stuff on Facebook, but we have to.
I did see that sugar in the tank.
So it's weird stuff. Dude came through and told his female he would go kill her. I'm gonna shoot you. Yeah, you got that nigga over there. It's just weird stuff, and I can't wait till we get past this as a people. But look, we so glad y'all tuned in, man. This your boy Shelvin.
Lady K.
Man, y'all went all the way to 8:30 with us, man. Thank y'all for cruising through and chatting with us, man. Next week, come back. YouTube, we go chat
on YouTube.
it up.
Be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Peace.